Kyle O'Reilly is out of action indefinitely. Another top AEW star is working through an injury, and an unexpected ex-WWE star may be returning soon, so stay tuned. So really rubbish news to kick things off, and this whole video, or at least half of it, is going to be a bit of a downer, to be honest. There's a lot of negativity here, so make yourselves a coffee and have some fun, because all of your favorite wrestlers are injured or working through injury. So Kyle O'Reilly is out of action indefinitely. Kyle O'Reilly essentially breaking the news himself over on Instagram. On his Instagram stories, he first of all posted a picture of himself in a hospital bed, looking not especially chipper. And then a few hours later, he alluded to the fact that he has undergone neck fusion surgery. Serious stuff. This is rubbish, because he'd hardly been in AEW for any amount of time. He joined in December 2021, just after he left AEW, where his contract expiring there. He had been basically written off with the ball stuff.
Yeah, so Sting hit him in the balls in a segment, and then he was like tweeting out, "Oh, I've got swollen testes. I can't wrestle."
It's worse. It's worse than ball injury.
It is.
Is a bit of a shocker. He had stated on the This Is Van Color podcast that he'd been dealing with several lingering injuries from years in the ring and will not be wrestling anytime soon. He's now obviously he's gone in for the surgery. I'm really gutted about this, because selfishly, and obviously Kyle's health comes first.
Yes.
Selfishly, there's a lot of matches that I really wanted to see with Kyle O'Reilly involved in AEW.
It is such a shame, because there's, as we've been talking about before as well, there's so many avenues that sort of the Undisputed Elite and the Elite stuff was going to go down. It was really exciting to see those teams finally face off. You got one of the biggest factions that was a part of NXT, and then one of the biggest factions in indie wrestling and AEW, right? All these people that are friends finally coming together to have this like huge blow off that I think fans have been waiting for a long time. And I feel really bad for Kyle, because in NXT, he didn't quite get there to the top. He was in amazing matches, but he didn't quite get to the top by holding the belt.
He was so close. And he was in big featured main event matches, but you're right, he was never like the face of the brand, was he?
And then
despite
obviously
how cool he was.
Right. And then in AEW he comes in, and yes, he wasn't sort of showcased too much on TV, but the matches that he did have were incredible, whether it was with Bobby Fish in AEW tag team title matches, or whether it was in that match, I think, for the #1 contendership of the interim championship against Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
And it was so good, and he was having such good matches, and he just seems like such a nice guy as well.
I like him. We joke, but he is actually like super cool, isn't he? If you don't mess with him, Kyle O'Reilly is ridiculously cool.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's a little bit goofy at times. That's sort of part of his comedy, but I think that's a cool guy. You don't need to mess with anything there. I think there's a lot of money to be made with Kyle O'Reilly.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter anyway. I hope he gets well soon.
Fingers crossed he does.
Really crap news.
Yeah.
On a similar note, the Bobby Fish stuff that has been talked about a lot over the last 24 or so hours, PW Insider have now confirmed with their sources that Bobby Fish's contract officially expired on the 31st of August. He is now a free agent. So it's looking pretty unlikely that we're going to see any fishy Kyle stuff.
Yeah.
Anytime soon, even without the injury.
Yeah, of course.
Even without the injury. So really crap news. We're now going over to certainly a top AEW star who is working through an injury. This was broken via Fozzie's Twitter. It's Chris Jericho we're talking about. You might have guessed it. On August the 10th, during the Quake by the Lake AEW event in Minneapolis, Chris suffered a throat injury that left him with a severely bruised larynx. Unfortunately, even though the injury is healing and not permanent, Chris hasn't fully recovered, and his laryngologist, correct me if I'm wrong, you will, has recommended that Fozzy postpone the first 2 weeks of the Save the World tour scheduled to start in Columbus on September 8th in order to facilitate a full recovery as soon as possible. So Fozzy with the breaking news there, the big scoops, that sucks. Obviously, I don't think it's going to affect him working on Sunday night. He's got the match with Danielson.
Yes.
Should be a banger. But when it comes to singing,
it's not going to be good, is it?
He can't do that either.
No,
and he's
exactly.
not been able to for a long time. Come on.
That's maybe
it'll help.
I mean,
Get that laryngologist or whatever it was to have a bit of a poke around.
Do you think he'll have something just protecting his throat the whole entire time through the Danielson match?
Oh, he should do, shouldn't he?
Like, don't hit here or something.
Yeah, they should play into that. They should play into that. So there you go. Hopefully he gets well soon. So fans of rubbish music can go and listen to Chris Jericho. What?
I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
I just love your brutal honesty.
I'm only joking about. I like Travis. Because Fran Healy can sing. All right. Right. Sticking with AEW now. We've got some updates on Malachi Black and Miro. So it's been floating around for the past few days that these lot might be leaving AEW. The requests have been made for releases. Fightful essentially shooting a lot of this down. So. One of the unreliable statements that came out on Wednesday was that Malachi Black had been released by AEW. Reps quickly shot that down to Fightful as completely false, said he hadn't been released, and then later that evening he was booked for All Out. He's going to be on the show, of course. Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri, who is, of course, very reliable, had tweeted then deleted that Malachi Black had asked for his release and it wasn't granted. Fightful had heard the rumor that Malachi Black had been unhappy, but the reason why wasn't something that they could report on without confirming firsthand. I do recall Miro and I think it was Malachi Black as well, liking some tweets saying, hey, you are better off in WWE. To something to that effect.
I mean, I feel so bad for Malachi Black, who came in insanely hot when he debuted. The arena went black and then he came up and he was right in Cody Rhodes' face.
Yeah, it's cool.
So good, right? I think maybe that was potentially part of the problem in the first place, him going up against some, like, the biggest baby face who necessarily didn't like to lose very often.
Cody?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Cody was quite giving.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that was the right thing to go into.
I don't think it was
first.
the right first feud, yeah.
But then recently as well, just the booking of the House of Black, unfortunately, there's just been nothing. You get, and I feel like this happens with a lot of people who come into AEW insanely hot. They get an initial little flurry of something, and then it's just gone. It goes away into nothingness. Miro, for example, amazing TNT title run, like really good matches with people, and then after that, obviously he had the injury with his neck, so not everything is necessarily on the booking, but there was just not much for him after that.
A lot more troughs than peaks for Miro in AEW,
definitely.
And people were frustrated. I mean, the whole thing with like Miro coming in. Fans were so excited because he had been so horribly underutilized and misused in WWE for so long.
Yeah.
Like for pretty much the entirety of his career in WWE. They just had to do him right, and I'm not sure they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, regarding Miro, another name that was listed by one of those less than reliable posters was Miro, claiming that he had asked for his release. This was also denied completely and repeatedly by sources who would be familiar with such a situation. It's all just untrue, apparently. Miro re-signed with AEW in late 2021, which will keep him with the company until early 2026. So he's there for a little bit longer. Miro told Fightful earlier this year that he gave AEW a deal on his first contract and was angling for huge money on his second, which they were told came to fruition. So he's at least getting paid well.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a job.
Yeah.
Right, we're finishing off with the big news.
The big one.
What would you say?
Yeah.
If I said to you, you can't beat a bit of bully?
Then I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, right. Jim Bowen is not coming back to WWE, but Big Bully Buchanan,
goodness gracious me.
Take this with some salt, all right? This is fun, though. Former WWE star Bull Buchanan could potentially make his first WWE appearance since he came back and did the This Is Your Life thing on, what was it, with John Cena?
With John Cena, because he was like an enforcer for Cena at one point, wasn't he? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, he did so he went, Boss Man's...
Yep.
Boss Man's buddy, and then he
bud.
went right to censor, and then I think he went away for a little while, and then he came back and did the stuff with Cena as B2, or B squared, if you prefer. And then he came back for a one-off appearance on Raw like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Don't ask me for the right date. So he's going to be at the Performance Center all next week in Orlando. Should he appear on NXT TV? This would be his first appearance in over 10 years. It's quite possible, and to be honest, probably most likely, that he's just going to be working as a guest coach. But he's there. He's a weird one to bring in. Is there any storyline reason to put him on? He's a bit of a weird one to stick on the telly. It could be return. He might just be getting a job. He was all right.
Maybe he just turns up and gives his son a little, because I think he's the father, right? He's the father of NXT star Brooks Jensen. So maybe he is. Maybe they win some tag belts or something, and he comes out and goes, "You're a good lad, you." And
that's it, like the Rick Steiner thing.
Yeah, like hopefully he doesn't get kidnapped though.
Yeah, no, not that bit. Just the okay. It doesn't need to go that far. So there you go. Will Buchanan make a return? Could he be the man to dethrone Roman Reigns? You'll have to stay tuned and find out very, very soon. We've got loads going on. You're off to Wales tomorrow.
I am indeed.
To watch some wrestling.
Yeah.
We've got live streams both nights. Clash at the Castle, All Out. You got What Happened At straight after. You got interviews with WWE superstars. You got bits on the street of Cardiff.
Bits on the street.
I don't know what they're filming there. Loads of stuff coming. We're going to be absolutely bombarding you with stuff. It's not very often that WWE do a proper show in the UK, and they're finally bloody doing it. So yeah, if you're down there, I know we got a lot of people in the UK watching. Have a brilliant time.
Yeah,
you have a brilliant
time.
I'm
really excited. Like, I keep saying it. It's not registered yet. It will register when I get up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning to get ready to go on the train.
What shirt are you going to wear? You got a wrestling shirt?
I might wear a Pete Dunne one.
Pete Dunne one?
Yeah, I got Pete
that's
Dunne
interesting.
One. I'm going to try and will it back to existence.
Yeah.
Then bring back the name. I'm Dunne. I'm Pete Dunne.
It's strong.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, have fun if you're there. Have fun if you're there in Chicago for All Out as well. See ya.